Hey Chris,
Yo, yo, hello, sir.
how's it going, my friend? You okay?
Yeah, good, mate. Sorry, I was trying to join without that fathom. It's annoying, isn't it? It always
Oh, it's
tries to
fine.
get,
Do you want me
always
to let
tries
your
to
note
slip
taker
in.
in?
He's always trying to get in. I'm like, get out. It's like I did a big group call with clients and like five fathoms trying to join. I'm like, no, you just get out of here. You know what I mean? I'm getting in.
It bumps the numbers up though.
Well, that's it. Gets the numbers up. But you're also just a bit like, pay attention to now. Do you know what I mean? It's a group call for some of the clients. It's like, I'd be the same probably, to be honest. But
Yeah, literally. I mean, it all gets recorded most of the time anyway, any group call that
exactly.
you do. But how's things, my friend? You well?
Yeah, things are good, mate. Things are good. Not much this morning. I was doing a few bits and bobs. Just Yeah, mate, I was up late last night, 1 o'clock or something. Just I had a coffee at like three, half three. Stupid. I met a mate, and it wasn't just Shelley like Costas or whatever. It was that black sheep, so it's a bit stronger. And
Mhm.
then thought it was cool. Came back, walking away. And I looked at it because it was bright, obviously outside now, and at like 7:30. I'm like, right, I need to start winding down here. And then I was on ChatGPT, mate, last night and just got carried away, man. Couldn't switch off. So that really happens, man. I'm normally quite disciplined with it. I'm normally like, right, Mrs. is beside me. Let's get to work. But I ended up watching, like, trying to get to sleep, man. I was watching like Pokemon. I was watching all the old school classics, something to just get my mind out of that frame, mate. It's crazy. But yeah, good day ahead, mate. Got a call with yourself, and then I've got a sales call later. I'm doing sales calls now because I'm training another closer up.
Nice.
And then a call with a new gym that we started, mate. But other than that, all good. Yourself?
Yeah, it's I've got a haircut after you because I'm starting to look like a yeti. So it's the problem with having a beard. I need a trim every week, otherwise
Yeah,
it starts to just go like that. So yeah, haircut after you, a couple of calls, and then I'm just filming lessons right now. We've gutted out quite a lot of our back end programs, especially over the last like few months, and we're just adding and adding and adding from the feedback that we've had from clients from
nice.
the start of this year. So yeah, a lot of my week this week is on do not disturb and just filming everything. But the good thing is once you do it right and you film those lessons once and you do them to a high quality,
Yeah,
they're done.
yeah.
They're done. So yeah, that's pretty much my week this week.
Yeah, it's good, is it? I think it's like it's exciting, but it's also quite very creative heavy into it, man. So it can get like you get excited for it, and then some days it's like creative fatigue. But it's so
Yeah.
true. I was the same, mate. Like we had built the upgraded coach, and I used to love drawing on the iPad and delivering trainings to 50, 60 people, and I loved it, mate. It's my jam. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, as times change, people's like attention spans, all of a sudden I was like, why are people not implementing? And I very quickly realized it's like, well, if you are tight on time, you're not great at time management. You click on a training portal, and the videos are now on 10 minutes long. And throughout the video, I'm like, right, guys, any shares in the chat box? It's like I can see why, So we all the
Yeah.
same, mate. Simple does it. Now it's quite bad, mate, because I've got all these fancy things and I love drawing and stuff. But the reality is, mate, it's like give them what they need. And now what would be an hour drawn out that I loved is now a 10-minute Google Doc. Loom.
Literally, yeah, and I've found exactly the same thing, and all of our programs now are built in a way where it's do this one thing, and you cannot move forward until you've done this
Yeah,
one thing, and then do the next thing, and then do
yeah.
the next thing. Because I've done that before, where you just bombard them with information, and like you said, they don't action anything.
Exactly, Josh. Like I signed up to Taki Moore and he was all about that, mate. And I love. I'm a visual learner. I'm not the greatest with just reading too much. And he was, on a boat in the middle of Croatia delivering a training to multi-millionaires. And I thought, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. And because I'm a visual learner, I just, it's like, Josh, you pick stuff up and you portray it into your program without really considering all the different learning styles.
Yes.
Then I signed up to, who was that I signed up to? I think it was Charlie Morgan,
Yep.
and he has a couple of videos that are like 2 hours long because like more mindset stuff. But other than that, his
Hmm.
face isn't in the camera.
Yeah.
It's really tactical, really efficient, really over delivering. And I thought, fuck, right, okay, that's the way forward then. So it's crazy just how you got these different paths, isn't it?
Literally. That's it. I mean, we just try and listen to clients. I think that's the
Mm,
biggest thing that we try and do. Like we don't amend and change everything, but especially every quarter, we just try and have like a big improvement to everything that we're doing. I mean, we're only just over a year old now,
yeah,
so it's still early days in the business itself. But that's something that we're trying to do just every quarter. Okay, what can we improve? What can we do better?
yeah.
Because it's such in its infancy still.
Mate, totally. And I think that's the thing that I found when I ask clients, like, it's a tricky one, Josh, isn't it? Because like if if you zoom out and ask yourself, like, is 100% of these clients my ideal clients? And you go, yeah, maybe some I've got a bit of work to do. I've got to challenge them differently or whatever. And what I found, mate, last year when I asked every single client, I asked them for feedback, and probably the questions weren't great enough. They weren't maybe, maybe I was pushing an angle towards them with the questions. I don't know, but one of the things they said, mate, was like faster replies. Right now, we do consultancy groups, WhatsApp consultancy groups, where we get systems manager, all the jazz, right? We even have a VA in there, mate. So when I wake up in the morning, I get a message saying, "Hey, Josh is looking for a reply. So is Sarah, so is Laura." So we have a 24-hour response rate, and that's in WhatsApp, right? And then I asked them a question last year, and they were like, "Faster replies in the WhatsApp group," and I'm like, first of all, right, this is a program that's £600 a month, and I'm going, you compare it to what's out there, Josh, and you're going,
yeah,
a fucking Discord channel. Like in a Facebook group, I'm like, it just goes to show you. And so, the feedback's always welcome. But I think one thing I did recently, mate, was I pinpointed my top 20%. I put them aside separately. My best clients. And I just said, look, and I come up with a couple of questions and I was like, look, I don't want a fucking massage rub here. I don't want you. This is not a testimonial. Just tell me what you, like, if I deleted it tomorrow, you wouldn't even be bothered. Be honest, even if I like it. And so what was funny is the top 20% of those clients gave me the best feedback I've ever had. And I know that sounds thingy because you can't always go with the best feedback from best clients, but I felt like it was time compared to the last time. It was time to ask the best.
Yes.
And mate, I just cancelled about 5 weekly calls because of it.
Yeah. Well, they're the people that you're trying to work with more of.
Exactly.
So yeah, it makes sense to talk to directly them.
Yeah, mate, Josh, one thing I'd recommend is, I don't know if you've seen Hormozi's scaling roadmap.
No.
Oh wow, mate, it's free. Right, go on their site.
Scaling roadmap.
Yeah, if you just go to acquisition.com and then just go to it'll just be there straight away. And you'll see it'll be like the scaling roadmap or the constraint roadmap or something like that.
Yeah.
And then later on, just put your details in, mate, fill it in, and it will send you over your custom report. So I did that and I printed it all out and I sat with it. And it's so funny, mate. It's probably the most accurate depiction of where I'm at I've ever had. More than any business coach, any conversations, any YouTube channel, and because it was so simple, you know what Hormozi's like, it's all black and white, and there was no mindset towards it, which of course is a massive factor, but it was just, and it spoke to me directly, mate, where I was at. That was my constraint. And one of the constraints was that your operations are loaded. You catered for 100% of your clients when only 20% are good. And I went, fuck, that's exactly how I felt, mate. And I had a staff meeting about 4 days before it, and I couldn't articulate it, but I was trying to say it in a way, and he just said it in about 12 words, crazy.
Off the back of a form.
Yeah, exactly, mate. So I recommend you get that, mate, because it's like the constraints and stuff. You'll know a lot of it, but at the same time, it serves as a general reminder to go, okay, this works. This is 100 million scaling roadmap. I don't think I'm exempt from these things,
Amazing. No, I'll check that out for sure. No, so obviously, like Matthew connected us. I know you've done some bits with Matthew. I've known Matthew for a few years now. I think it was. I had a podcast in his friend's shed.
Oh, really?
Actually in Wales, yeah. He
Cool.
invited me over for a podcast, and it was in his friend's shed in the back of a garden. And I remember driving up. I was like, "Where is this place?"
That'll be a story for the journey.
Yeah, and it was like, where is this place? I was driving up and I was in the middle of this housing estate in Wales. I was like, is this the right place? But yeah, it was. But yeah, obviously Matthew's connected us and said that we got quite similar personalities. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
So I am recording. So yeah, I mean, if you want to go through a bit of your story, I can go through a bit of my story, and then we'll just see where the conversation takes us, I think.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. Like Matt reached out and said that. I think for us and anybody listening, this is the first time we've actually properly spoke. We had a voice note and back forward yesterday, but this is the way of the world we're in, isn't it? This is how you meet these days, and this is how you go back forward, and you either see people as competition, or you turn your nose up at people, or you accept it and try and collaborate with people, because as we know, it's a lonely game out there. But yeah, mate, so I think just a very quick backstory for me before we get into yours. Like, I was a personal trainer, like a lot of us. We gets into sort of business coaching, marketing agencies and stuff. A personal trainer for 8 years. First 3 years were hellish, mate. I mean, they weren't hellish in the sense that I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed every minute of it, wearing tracksuit bottoms, helping people lose fat. But my God, I did not know I had a business. And this isn't some story to say that, you should realize that now. It's more just like it was a whirlwind. I was just happy to not be working in Ladbrokes anymore or Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just thought I worked for Pure Gym. I genuinely did, mate. It's because I'd worked for institutions in the past. I thought like that I've got a uniform on. This is what I do.
Yeah.
And so the one of the biggest moments for me was like, fuck, I'm actually parking in the quay at Glasgow and walking up here. Like, I have to pay for parking. I was like, fuck, that's the Ladbrokes money's like not a lot. So I kept on Ladbrokes on the side, mate. I did like 20 hours on the side because I had no money. Do you know what I mean? I had to fund my petrol and my parking.
Sure.
Kept that on the side, doing like 20 hours. Sometimes it was Saturday, Sunday, 2 10-hour shifts. Sometimes it was like a night during the week and stuff. And I did that way too long, mate, because you know what it's like. Didn't want to burn the bridges. Wasn't sure how I could take clients on. And then eventually I booked a photo shoot. Like your first rite of passage as a personal trainer, isn't it? It's like book a photo shoot, and that'll be your credibility.
Yeah.
And I booked a photo shoot, and it was a 16-week prep. And I told Ladbrokes, like, look, I've got this photo shoot in 16 weeks. Every other day they'll see me in there with my little tuna and rice and nannies and stuff like that. You know the drill, mate. And and they still, like, I got to like 2 weeks before it, they put the schedule out, and they put me in for the Sunday for my photo shoot.
Right.
And I was just like, I can't work that. Like, I've got a photo shoot. You've known that for ages. And it's just typical management, all these places in retail, mate. And they weren't giving me it off. So what I did is I quit the night before, just like handed my keys into the shop. And it was the moment. So I actually was never brave enough to quit without like getting forced to almost. Yeah. So I quit. I knew that next month I wasn't getting that £700-800 from Ladbrokes, so I had to go in, and it sounds so easy now in the modern day of business. Just get 3 clients. It's like that's not what it was like back then.
It's scary.
Yeah, mate. It's so scary. The fact that I did not have a wage coming in. It was like so. But basically, I had 4 weeks, mate, to go and find clients. So all of a sudden, which sounds so obvious now with the amount of help and support that's out there, but all of a sudden I just had to start talking to people after classes. Just say to them, by the way, do you know I'm a personal trainer? And the wake up call as well is like somebody went like that to me after a class. They'd been in my classes every week. Do you know what I find out about personal training? I'm like, I'm literally standing right here. But they just I was a group instructor. Crazy. And that's a reminder for nowadays how much you need to remind people and not actually educate them. So long story short, managed to pick up. My classes became really, really busy. Pure Gym was like my fortress. I was like, yes, one of the busiest PTs. And then I started like getting known in Scotland for, transformations and all that kind of stuff. Then that's when I branded as the Glasgow PT, bit of a bold move, but it was kind of like statement piece. And then
strong name.
Yeah, COVID hit. I was unsure what to do. I built an online program, launched a big online transformation challenge twice, holiday to Benidorm and all that sort of stuff. And then the idea was to go back to Pure Gym, and I was like, don't really want to do that. I had banked a lot of cash, more cash than I ever thought I could, because I was quick to act in COVID. I actually put on like a personal trainer group during COVID. It wasn't to like give them business advice, it was just support. And there was like 400 members in there, and because PT coaches were panicking. And that's where I probably realised there could be something in this here, because it was the old classic Josh that you probably still get to this day, is we should grab a coffee sometime, all that kind of shit. Like, coffees cost a lot of money these days.
They do.
And then, I was at a bit of a crossroads, and then the opportunity to open a gym came up. Opened the gym, realised, amazing, sign up on the wall, and then I went, I don't actually want this. I want to live abroad and stuff. And so I had a 5-year goal to buy a villa in Spain, and did I believe I could do it? Not really. But because I'd done so well during COVID, I'd banked enough cash and made it a reality within like 2 years. So I was like,
amazing,
let's do this. And I was obviously opened the gym with my wife, Cheryl, and she, like, we were both coaching. So it's like anytime I wanted a holiday, which we love, we'd have to both be off. Of course, I could build a team and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, I don't know if this is what we want.
Still tied to it.
Yeah, mate, very tied to it. And I thought that's exactly what I wanted. And don't get me wrong, man, it's one of the proudest moments of my career, seeing my sign up on the wall and seeing these members coming in. And then we sold the equipment, sold the gym, but I was building the upgraded coach on the side at the time. And that's where I realised that, I think one Friday morning, I was building the upgraded coach modules. And then I had a session at lunchtime, and some woman was just like this to me, like, oh, what should I do about my breakfast? I can't eat this and I can't eat that. And I was like, time for me to bow out. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
And yeah, mate, that was it. And then I just went all in on, we did that, went all in on the upgraded coach, moved the business online. Cheryl took over that, the coaching side of it, fitness coaching. And then, yeah, a couple of years of the upgraded coach, and then we rebranded as MRR agency now, just to really solidify our brand and grow up a little bit, mate, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of followed the regular path of building a mentorship thing. Has been a part of one. Kind of that's the only path I knew. And now, Josh, I finally feel we're finding our own voice, mate. We've got our own thing. There's no any path I'm taking right now is unknown to me. Whereas in the past, I built a gym that's a path. I built a mentorship that's kind of similar to what's out there.
Yeah.
So now this is where we're at, mate.
You knew the goals before. Now you don't know where the end destination is.
Yeah, exactly.
Incredible. No, it's interesting. A lot of what you said, I'm smiling and nodding because it's very similar. Like even when you had that realization that fitness coaching wasn't for you, I had exactly the same thing where I had a message from one of my clients who she texted me and I was like, Josh, I've slipped up on my diet. Okay, like what's happened? Like, is everything okay? Yeah, I've gone into the freezer and I've got out 7 sticky toffee puddings and I've eaten them all. I didn't even defrost them. I just eaten them. This isn't. I can't deal with that. So I was just smiling just then because it just reminds me of so many stepping stones that I had through my journey as well. Yeah. Mate, good for you. That's fucking awesome. That is absolutely awesome. And the fact that like everything that you set out to do, and you are right. Those initial steps, like leaving employment, I'll touch on my journey in a moment, but when you left Ladbrokes, that is the scariest and in your head at the time, the biggest step that you probably ever took in your entire career. Even though you've taken many steps, obviously through COVID and going through that process in Spain as well, and like buying a villa out there and then shifting the upgraded coach and all of those stepping stones that you've gone through, which would have taken balls and it would have taken like a big shift. But that Ladbrokes step was probably, correct me if I'm wrong, the scariest and largest step that you've had.
Josh, honestly, mate, it was probably the time where I have compared myself to everybody the most. Like, I always tell a story, Josh, and it's like hopefully it's a little shift for people listening, but I remember pulling up to do my driving test, right? Sweating, your back sweating, you know the drill. Yeah. And I just came out the test centre and I'd pull up at the lights, and this old woman pulled up beside me, right? Very, very old. Can barely see over the steering wheel. Yeah. And I looked to my left because I'm pure rigid, and I just glanced to my left.
Yeah.
And she was so old, and she was driving. There obviously wasn't an instructor there. And I just turned to myself, and it's like that positive comparison thing. And I went, "If no offense to the wee old woman, but if she can drive, I think I'm going to pass my test today.
You'll be fine."
Yeah, and I just passed the test, and I think that's like you were saying there about Pure Gym and stuff. Like one of the things I did in Pure Gym, I used to look about at the PTs, and like straight away you do that thing, Josh. It's like he must be busy because he's big. Yeah. That's why. Yeah. He's big. He's got big arms. Right. Fuck, I need big arms. Pass me the steroids. Who's got the steroids? Do you know what I mean? That's what it's like. And then I used to see people like, but then I used to come to it, mate, and it was never against anybody. And I always do this to this day. I'm very competitive. And I used to go, well, no harm to him or them. Like, if they can do it, I can do it. And if I meet somebody exceptional and, like people like Hormozy, these are outliers and stuff. But if I meet somebody who genuinely I believe that if they can do it, I can do it. Not I'm going to be better than them. I can just do it. Yeah. And that was my motivation, mate, because it was the most daunting time in my life, because I don't come from money, mate. I couldn't chat my mum's door and go, can you back me up here? So you're right, but that was like the scariest moment I've ever done, way more than the gym and everything else.
Yeah, it's nice though, because every part of your journey as well, you've not, and this is the first time I've heard Chris's journey for anyone listening to this, so I'm reacting quite like raw and naturally, but every single stepping stone that you've actually had is a natural step. It's like with the PTs in the Facebook group, like you said, it was something that just formed naturally out of you just wanting to help and wanting to support, and then that's where the mental shit came off the back of that. So those stepping stones from that journey of Ladbrokes, like you said, has just been so naturally formed.
I think that's the best way to put it, Josh. Like I never thought about it like that, mate, because see, now that I know my stuff and I've had some success, I've built credibility to myself and confidence. Now some things feel forced because I've got. Do you ever get that, mate? Where you've now got belief and confidence, so then you feel like you're forcing stuff, and you've hit the nail on the head there, mate. See the group and all these things, they were all natural, just progressions, and I think that's what I'm telling my clients. But I'm not here to take my own advice.
Yes, yeah, exactly. No, so many similarities. Yeah. Like my background, so similar. I mean, I started off. I was actually accounting first and foremost out of school. All of my friends went to uni, but I had this thing in my head that I didn't want to go to uni if I didn't know what I was going for. Like I'm someone that always needed, okay, what is the purpose behind putting the work in for this thing? I always needed like that end result behind everything. So I didn't go to university because I didn't know why I was going. So my dad actually got a job for me at one of our friends' like local accounting businesses. It's like a bookkeeper. So I went through like all of the qualifications, etc. I was just so bored. I was just so bored every single day, shirt and tie. I would train off the back of like playing rugby in my earlier years. And naturally, I'd just get in this cycle where I'd work 9 till 4, it was, and then I'd go to the gym, train myself, and train with like a couple of other people. Again, naturally formed. People would ask me for help. Like most, not many 16-year-olds are like built.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many.
Yeah.
And obviously you respond so well, so young as well, especially as a guy.
Yeah.
I was quite a big guy at 16, 17. So naturally got quite a lot of questions there. And then I would sell the nightclub tickets in the evening. And that was like a repeat with a few hours sleep in between. It was just like natural for me again to just put the work in and keep myself busy. And because all of my friends had gone off to university, it kind of left me quite a lone wolf with everything. I was like, well, I don't really have anyone to hang around with now because everyone's gone. So what do? I might as well work and just fill up as much time as possible. So that's what I did for quite some time. And then I got a role as an apprentice gym instructor because there was a gym that opened up around the corner. And the manager of that gym would train at the leisure center that I was training at. So naturally, we'd just cross paths and have conversations and managed to get that role over there. So open the gym. That was my first experience of seeing a business from start to finish, which was crazy. Understanding how gyms work with like business rates and like fixtures and fittings and signages and marketing, like just being exposed to everything was such a blessing now looking back at that. At like 18 years old, just being exposed to everything from the ground up and being such a part of everything. Even though I was an apprentice on like £3 an hour, it wasn't really about the money. It was just everything that I was just like a sponge. I was just learning everything. And it was awesome. And I was at that gym and I actually met my wife at that gym. I was actually at that gym for like a good 2, 3 years. And similar to what you said about comparing yourself to other personal trainers that come in, I remember standing on because it was an old gym chain called Fit for Less. I don't know if you've heard of Fit for Less. It's now Energy Fitness.
Yeah.
So it was one of the chains of that I was actually a part of. And they used to have these podiums. It wasn't even a reception. You used to have to stand at this podium, and it was so weird. Like you were preaching to the gym. It was a weird setup. And I would watch this. I'd watch this personal trainer called Brian. His name was, and he was the busiest personal trainer in the gym. Like person after person after person, taking £30 cash. I was like, this guy is crushing it. And if you pay for 10, you'll get one for free.
Yeah, of course.
That amazing offer, that absolute steal of an offer that was back then. And I'd watch him take person after person, shape, size, gender, goal, every single person through the same session.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy's crushing it financially, but he's terrible. Like he's not putting any effort into his clients, clearly doesn't want to be there. He's out of shape. Like surely there's a better like scenario to this. So naturally being just on the gym floor all the time, I just used to speak to people. Like, is there anything that we can do better? Is there any help that I can get? Like, and this all just came naturally to me to just ask questions and just try and help people because majority of the time in the middle of the day and on the gym floor, you're bored. So there's only one thing to do apart from mop the floor and talk.
When it's mopped, it's mopped.
Literally. So, and I would find out that people would pay for their parking. They would pay for the gym, pay for personal training, pay for classes, and pay for all of these additional things. And I just came up with, I was actually working and I had a call with Bedros Cooley, and I don't know if you've heard of him. Huge now. Back then, he wasn't. He was just kind of starting out with Fit Body Bootcamp in those earlier days. And he did these one-off calls like back in the day, and I had a call with him. But very, very lucky to have a call with him so early on, looking back now, especially in the state that we're in now. But he was banging on about MRR back then. So exactly what you're doing right now. And like nobody was doing monthly recurring revenue in the fitness industry, especially personal training. Like we said, it was £30 a session or pay for 10 and get one. And that was just standard. So I took all of those expenses and did like £99 a month, and then I raised it to £100 a month. I paid for their parking, I paid for their gym, I paid for their
Nice.
classes, and they just paid me, and I profited about £75 a month. It wasn't a lot, but for someone that was 18, 19, very quickly went to 40 clients
Nice.
with that as well, with MRR, and it was awesome. It gave me that jump from £3 an hour to like four grandish that I was kind of earning a month, and it was awesome. It was awesome. And then there was a gym that actually opened up around the corner, a pure gym that was on its way. And the gym owners, because Energy Fit for Less back then was individually franchised, so it was individual owners just owning a piece of the pie essentially.
Yep.
And the owners that we had, they hadn't come from a fitness background or a gym background or anything to do with the industry whatsoever. And because Pure Gym was opening and it was £5 a month cheaper than where we were, they decided, okay, we're going to go cheap. We're going to make our gym $12.99. Then we're going to make it $9.99. And I said, what are you doing? You're going to destroy the business. You're going to need thousands of people in here to actually make ends meet. And at the time, I was quite worried about like my business because I built the client base up. I was crushing it for my age. I was doing really well. I was like, don't destroy the gym because then I've got nowhere to go. And I actually moved the clients prematurely to a gym around the corner. I was like, right, all of my clients will come with me. They'll come with me. I'll be absolutely fine. I think 2 clients followed me to this other gym
Fuck's sake.
and just
Around the corner as well.
just lost everything because they got used to their routine. They got used to, and ultimately, I clearly wasn't as good as I thought I was as well, which is a bit of a realization. So then I had to get a job essentially, like similar sort of thing. So I actually got a job at David Lloyd. So I was like, right, I'll get a job. I've got the fitness background, open a gym, built a bit. Right, I can get a job in fitness again. So started on the gym floor at David Lloyd, went through like that corporate, but I needed to learn how to market and sell.
Yeah.
And that was like a big thing for me because I was like, I don't want a repeat of what happened before. I want to protect myself. So if anything happens like that again and I'm in a vulnerable position, I want to be confident enough that I can make it work. And at that moment in time, I don't know how to market. I don't know how to sell. I can coach, I can get results, but that's it. Again, not a business owner at all. So went through the process at David Lloyd, and that was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. Was you just a self-employed PT at Pure Gym?
Yes, I actually did my course inside David Lloyd, but not for them. It was an independent place, and they offered a job at the end of it and told me the deal of how it worked in there. So yeah, I never actually got in there. I just went straight to Pure Gym as no contract, do classes in exchange for being able to coach there.
Amazing. Yeah, inside any like large corporation, and this is what I found very quickly, it's very militant. It's you have to do things this way and this time in this order. You can't add your spin to it, but you can't deviate whatsoever. And in the sales office, I mean, it was good to get the reps in and like get the experience behind it, but I would have to do 100 cold calls a day, and otherwise I wasn't allowed to go home. And I had to drive an hour to the gym and an hour back as well, doing God knows how many hours. And then let's say one day you had 8 appointments that were all an hour long. That's an 8-hour shift, and you had to do the 100 calls before you're allowed to go home as well.
Seriously?
Yeah, and you had to say a certain thing at a certain time. When you walked into a certain room of the gym, you had to present it in a very specific, like everything was so by the book. And they would mystery shop you every couple of weeks as well. And if you said one wrong thing, you lost your commission. And it was just really, really strict, really strict. But again, you get the reps in. I ended up doing 420 grand of revenue for that David Lloyd club in an 18-month window. So the reps worked over time, and it got me better at sales and speaking to people and being proactive and that side of things. So learned a lot, but it's just militant.
That's what I think as well, Josh, just to quickly, mate, like the people listening to this, online coaches, business owners who feel like they've got it tough. Now, we've all got our story, but you know, I've got some coaches who are like, I just have to send a DM and I have to post today. And it's like, you're literally lying in your bed with your laptop, like, relax, man. You know, no one's over you saying phone 100 people. Like, you know, and I think that we've all got a story where we remember how tough we used to have it, of course. Yeah. But it's just a reminder how easy, not simply how simple we've got it, not easy, in the online business space right now, because that's a reminder there, mate. That's reps and a half, man.
100%, 100%. But it's good. Like you look back now and it's like, I'm glad I had that.
Well, mate, you made an irresistible offer when you're like 16, 17. Do you know what I mean? You packaged it up and went, right, okay, how can I make this irresistible? What other stuff are they paying for? So that alone carries into, mate, the skills that you learn there will carry you into any age of whatever happens with the industry, because you're selling for life and you know how to package something up that people want.
Literally, no, you've hit the nail on the head, and that's all I was trying to do, just collect skills and skill. I was just trying to cover up my weaknesses the entire time, just to protect. And it was from a fear perspective. It wasn't from I'm going to be this successful entrepreneur.
Yeah,
I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be homeless.
Yep.
So I need to, from a fear perspective, I need to get better at this weakness, and that's where the drive always came from. But yeah, left David Lloyd and got a general manager job at like a private personal training studio. So I was still quite scared to go on my own again. So I was like you said,
still get the buns.
Yeah. So I was still employed. But got this general manager job, and there was 6 or 7 personal trainers. Can't remember the exact number. And it was a pay for the gym, personal training classes, etc., all kind of bundled up in one private facility. I was like, that's right on my street. Like I'll dominate in that space. That'll be really good. But it was the first time stepping into managing a team. And I was only early 20s, and it was kind of like this imposter, like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Who is this guy to like tell this 30-year-old personal trainer like what to do? But again, just took those skills from what I'd learned, and we doubled the revenue in the gym in a year, which was cool. Got all the personal trainers up to 30 hours of personal training each, actually within their own businesses, and we did really, really well, and it was cool. And it got to the point where, because I was earning 20 grand a year managing that gym, and every single person in that business was earning at least double me. And I was like, what am I actually doing here? And yes, you got this title that you're a general manager, and it's like you feeling fantastic. But like, what am I actually doing here? So yeah, I made the jump. I was like, right, I've helped these other personal trainers. I clearly know what I'm doing now. Give it another shot. And it was around the time COVID wasn't here. It was about 2018. So there was a few other people doing it, a couple of my friends that were actually doing online coaching. And I decided to just go all in online so I could build the business outside of like still being employed, like similar to what you was trying to do at Ladbrokes in those early days. Built it, just took off. I took on the first like 5 clients for free, then £50 a month. They'll train you online. £75 a month. Everything was MRR back then. Just from like a safety perspective.
Yeah.
And we built the business up to 250 grand a year. It was around 20 to 25,000 pounds a month. Nice. Quit the job, and it was around that sort of time where I was getting those messages from those clients, like I said, with the sticky toffee puddings.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, I know what I'm doing from a business.
You'll see that in the shop now, and you'll be like, it's like it gives you scars, doesn't it?
Like PTSD for puddings.
Right.
But yeah, like got to that point where it's just like, well, I really, really enjoy the business side of things, but it's not really, fitness coaching isn't really for me anymore. Like I just help these other personal trainers, and growing the online fitness coaching company, I started to have people ask me for help naturally. And I was just like, yeah, absolutely fine. We'll hop on a call. I think it was like £100 a month. I'll help you with your business like once a week or something. £200 a month. I help you with your business. And again, I was just building it in the same way I built the fitness coaching.
Yeah.
And it was only about 3 months, and I got approached by a mentorship company that was quite early on, at the start of COVID 2020. And I just came on board with them because they had so much traction at the time. It was such early days. And yeah, I was with them for 4 years.
4 years? Wow.
Yeah, 4 years. We were just doing one-to-one calls. I did over 5,000 one-to-one calls. I actually worked out before my event because I wanted to work out the numbers. 5,000 one-to-one calls, just mentoring, like all coaches, all business owners. And yeah, again, reps from that side of things.
I was about to say, mate, you're a man. You love your reps, I think.
I don't know. I don't know if I love it, but
no, I know, mate. But it's the thing that people are. Hamoni talks about, mate, is like it's getting ridiculously easy to compete with people these days because no one's willing to do the reps.
Yeah.
And for an inordinate amount of time, do something for a stupid amount of time where you're the only one doing it for that many times, and that's been It's been a common theme out from your journey, mate.
Yeah, literally, because I wouldn't say I'm the smartest guy on the planet, but I can outwork a lot of people.
Exactly.
That's
I'm the
for
same, mate.
sure. That's for sure. But yeah, did that. Moved to Spain, got a beautiful apartment, had a couple of pools near the beach, like living the dream, like living the
Yeah.
absolute dream. And I'd fucking earned it as well. Like I'd worked my ass off for it. Changed a lot of people's lives along the process, helping people like achieve 5 grand a month, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and plus. And we had a huge impact in that company. But the company owner just wanted, obviously, I'm not going to say any names or anything like that.
No, no.
The business just started pivoting and shifting more times than I had hot dinners. And it was just, we had like the first 3 years where it was super clear, like we're one-to-one mentors. We help this person and
Yeah.
we help them grow. And then AI started to come about. And then we started to pivot into aesthetics. We started to pivot into different industries, into sales training. And at the time, I remember being at a friend's baby shower of mine, and someone says, "What do you do?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know what actually who I am and what
Yeah.
I'm actually doing right now because it's changed so fucking much in the last year or two. I'm actually confused myself, but
Yeah.
no idea." And then the business wanted to go down a route of like your low ticket Andrew Tate esque type
Yeah.
thing, and it just doesn't align with like me, and I don't know what I'm not in control of where I'm actually going anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm obviously part of another company. So that's where I just realigned with my values. I moved back from Spain to the UK. I was like, right, I need to move back. I need to hit this big reset button because I've lost
Yeah.
control. I've just lost control of where I'm going, what I'm doing. I've lost all motivation, all drive. I'm just lost.
Yeah.
Like life's just a massive blur right now. I was going down to the beach every day and just having beers and just chilling, and it was just quite, without getting the violin out, it was just quite depressing
Yeah.
because there was just no direction towards anything. I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing.
Especially since you had one since you were 16, you know.
You
Well,
literally,
not direction as such, but you had purpose and you had the next thing came straight away. So
literally, and I remember sat on the beach. It was Gemma's birthday, my wife's birthday, and we cheers like a glass of prosecco. And we were both like, "Why aren't we happy?"
yeah.
Like we've moved to Marbella. We've got a beautiful apartment, beautiful life. We work online, great friends. Like we're earning really good money. Like what the hell is like wrong with us? And we couldn't quite understand it. And it was just we just lost all drive, all purpose. And I'm only 29, coming to 30. I'm still young. It's not like I'm retired yet, and I've
Yeah.
still like got a dog in me, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we just hit the reset. We made the decision, hit the reset button, dropped the business, so dropped all my income, went back to zero, moved back in with my parents. This was only a year ago.
Nice.
Moved back in with the parents, and yeah, just tried to rebuild everything. And I remember writing down, right, what are my values? What are my mission? What is my mission? What is my purpose? And I've always loved coaching, and I loved those first 3 years of working with that other company. And I just wanted to get back to what I was doing there, that impact I was doing, impact I was having, sorry. So wrote everything, single thing down, rebuilt the company from scratch. And again, went back to doing what I did before. Reached out to all of my contacts, right? Who needs help with their business? Who's got any problems right now? Is there any way that I can help you with the experience that I've actually got? And just started again connecting, took people on for like £300 a month, again, one-to-one mentoring, £400 a month, £500, and it started to build the recurring revenue up again. And this is how I look at MRR. It gives you such that a safety and
Oxygen, mate.
security aspect.
Oxygen.
It's oxygen, exactly, and especially when you're building from the ground up. I've
Yeah.
always leaned into MRR at the very beginning, and that's exactly what I did. And yeah, we've continued down that path over the last year, built the business, and yeah, we've just done our first event a month ago. Had 50 people in the room from 6 different countries, and
Mega,
it's
mate.
cool. It's cool. Everything's aligned, and yeah, I'm back in the English countryside. And I'm just happy, brother.
But even there, mate, I love it. I love it. One thing I think as well, Josh, like there's an element there where, you know, people say I seen somewhere that you change every 3 or 4 years, right?
Mhm.
And you know, it was 4 years you were with that company, and the way that you're talking about it, mate, isn't you aren't spiteful, you aren't blaming it. The truth is that, you know, once you start building a team and you start to, you know, you change every 3 4 years,
Yeah.
and the world around you changes, the people around you change, your industry changes, so much so that you're almost like, shit, where do I go? And that's why you end up very frantic. That's why you make decisions, because you've always trusted your instinct. And that's one thing I found, mate, and the humility you've got there to go back to England and go, I'm going to live with my parents now because I need to, one, watch money, but two, decide what I want in life. And there's no harm in that to anybody, mate. There's a lot of people who, they always have these bad feelings towards previous things. And it's like, look, you outgrew something. That thing that you've outgrew. How can we expect that every 3-4 years, people change in their life? Some for the better, some who don't change at all, and that's a conflict. How can you expect anything else other than you to have to focus on yourself? Like the way you were saying it, there's, I lost my vision. I was unsure. I was depressed. Me and my missus are, chinging champagne, but we're just not sure what to do next. Why are we not happy? Yeah. Why are we not happy? And so you took that ownership. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people I speak to now who blame external factors and continuously blame them. COVID was a big one. It was a massive thing. But even post-COVID, people are blaming mentors. They're blaming the industry. They're blaming AI. They're blaming fat loss jabs. They're blaming everything around about them. Their gym manager. In reality, it's like they just don't take ownership for the fact that they need to adapt to the changes that they're going through personally or in business. And that's what I love about that story there, mate, is you used I and we and why am I this?
Yeah.
And that's the key, I think, for anybody listening. If you're feeling like I relate to Josh's story, then please just go, what can I do about it?
Yeah, this is thank you. But this is something that I speak to a lot of our clients now, and it's build a business that serves the life that you want to live. Don't just build a business. Like there's no point just building a business for the sake of it. If you want to work a certain amount of hours today, if you want to travel, if you want to live a certain way, if you want to enjoy a round of golf a couple of times a week, like build your business to serve your life and use it as a stepping stone, because I've been on the flip side of that where the business controls you and there's nothing you can do about it. I've been on the flip side of that, and I'm huge on that now, especially coming back and realigning with everything. Even my diary now, we've luckily got a little one on our way. So
nice,
our first little one on the way. Thank you. And it's weird, mate. It's like the stars align. It's strange, like coming back, realigning with everything, and then we've been given like this gift as well. It's like, there you go. It's like a little pat on the back for everything.
There's the cherry on top.
Literally.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like that's the big. We've got very similar visions in terms of alignment with certain things, and I think like I've always, for the last year, Josh, I've been trying to tackle the idea that to get clients better results. I mean, and the big shift. The reason we come up with MRR, right, and this was a big shift, is because like people think MRR is a price point, right, and technically it's a price that you charge, because people think it's high ticket MRR, and that's fine if you look at it from a software level point of view. But the biggest thing with MRR for me, mate, is like it's always an afterthought for people. And so, like, if you look at Grant Cardone and all these sales experts, there's not an MRR expert out there, and that's why I'm trying to be a thought leader with it. There's not a retention expert out there. Name one that's on stage telling you to get your abs out. There's none, right? It's all Grant Cardone and all these guys, the baldy guy, whatever his name is. And so what the industry's becoming is sell, create an offer, which, by the way, it absolutely should be, right? It absolutely should be. I love ads. I love creating offers that convert. But unfortunately, what happens is that MRR becomes an afterthought, and I'm talking a 90-day or 6-month afterthought. And by that point, it's too late. So, and in order to, some coaches out there have got MRR already ingrained in them because they're a great coach, they're a great listener, they do their job. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there who think they do a good job. They think they know how to talk to people. They think they know what they get results. But MRR is a principle, mate. It's if I know that the bulk of my income's coming from MRR, then every single month I need to show up and do the work. And now there's a flip in the industry where it's like every single month I need to show up and sell. And it's like, we need to do both.
Yes. Yeah.
And so like my goal for a lot of the businesses out there that keep failing and never get to that next level is I want your MRR to be so stable that you love selling. It's not stable and you hate selling. And that seems to be the case. So I think that's the big passion of mine, mate, with MRR is like, please just like get to the point where you're massively incentivized. And I know you say you think you do. I know you want to focus on getting a client result and caring about them.
Mhm.
But the fact is, I know people who don't have that much MRR. They have to frantically sell, and they're in this never-ending cycle.
Mhm.
So I wanted to shift the priority as such and not make it an afterthought.
Love
So
that.
by all means, charge 6K up front or whatever you charge 2K up front. That's but please make sure whatever happens as soon as they pay that money, the
Mhm.
MRR principles are engraved throughout the full process.
Yes. Yeah.
That's it, really.
Yeah, and you've touched on it there with enjoying it, and I mean, looking back on my career, I've always started and got going with MRR for that exact same reason. So I can build it to a point where I can enjoy selling, I can enjoy content, I can enjoy acquisition,
Yeah.
enjoy growing the business without that pressure. Because as we know, if you get on a sales call and you need that sale, it's not going to go as planned because you're
No.
desperate and you really want it. You're not going to be relaxed. You're not going to be you. So yeah, MRR for me really gives that peace of mind, that security. And to be honest, I like the combination of both.
Same.
I'm that person who likes the combination of both. But for me, MRR is that baseline in the business that I know every single month it is that's what's coming in, and that's what the business is being built. That's the foundations of the
Yeah.
company. So then you can build on that company in the best way possible and enjoy it.
Mate, I always say, Josh, it's exactly that, mate. I always say, like, see your MRR, right? Don't just think about it as paying the bills, right? Think about it as paying your pension, paying whatever extra.
Mhm.
Think about paying way more than just surviving with MRR, because when you push that boundary, man, actually, when you have a very good sales month, wow, watch you take off. And
Yeah.
the reason I really pushed down on it, mate, I got a lot of coaches coming from other mentorships
Mhm.
who had put MRR as an afterthought.
Yeah.
And I had someone come in and he put on his business audit that he was earning 15K.
Mhm.
And then the following month, he put on his business audit that he was down at 6K.
Yeah.
And I went, what happened there? He's like, no, when I came in, I got 6 sales that month. I never got any sales this month because
Yeah.
of XYZ. And
Mhm.
that's my MRR is 6K. 15K to 6K, mate.
Yeah.
That's
Stressing,
so
worrying.
stressful and life altering
Yeah.
and so confusing, and you end up living like a king, and then next thing you know, you're. So that was the big turning point for me, mate. It's like I'm not going to start like I charge up front. I have variations. Most of like 80% of my revenue is MRR,
Mhm.
but when you come on a call, I know, like, I want people bought in. We have 6 experts that deal with our clients. You're
Mhm.
damn right I'm charging up front because we do a shit ton on the front end.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
but just know that, our heavily incentivized throughout the full buyer's journey and the client journey, is we want you on that MRR on the back end when we're done.
Yeah.
AKA, we need to deliver. So you say, yes, absolutely, I'm staying on.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Is it fitness coaches that you target specifically still, or are you
Yeah,
looking
still
to
fitness
venture?
coaches, mate. So we are predominantly online coaches and
Mhm.
gym owners. We help personal trainers as well at very early stage personal trainers. But for us, it's like we have got some systems we could turn on for them and get them fully booked and get them interested in small groups or online.
Incredible.
So online coaches and small group coaches, I should say, not gym owners, because we've got gym owners and small group coaches who run small group programs inside commercial gyms, independent gyms. So yeah, mate, still absolutely loving serving those two categories. I think I love marketing. So I
Mhm.
think, like, for me, my long term play is, to be really, really solidify my knowledge and my expertise in this industry, and then look to see where I can really kind of test my creative edge. And whilst the agency's at its best, I think for me, mate, I'd love to really be known for marketing, disruptive marketing strategies, and come into big businesses and say, let me take control of your market. Let me and the team really build just something that makes people turn heads and, build your brand type thing.
Incredible. Love that. Love that.
What about you? You've branched a little bit, haven't you? You've got I hope
Yeah.
creators
So
and stuff as well.
we're specifically online coaches. So that could be any industry. So we don't work with like any in-person coaches
Locations.
or any coaches that do like in-person masterminds or anything like that. That's specifically online coaches. But you could be a fitness coach, you could be a mindset coach that we've got a few of.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the rise of NLP right now, we're really helping a lot of mindset coaches out.
Yep.
The biggest thing with that side of things is getting them to connect with customers from an acquisition perspective and help monetize it, because mindset coaching, people naturally think therapy, like straight
Yeah.
away. So it's getting people to buy in. We got coaches in the skincare industry. We've got coaches in stress relief. So yeah, any type of online coach, we've got systems that we've built out for, and it gives us that little bit of variety that we like to keep everything exciting rather than just working with online fitness coaches specifically.
I love that, mate. How do you feel then with regards to your own message and market, mate? Because I know from doing it for a long time that, you know, this niche thing and stuff like that. But I also know that I've been, you know, I was in a mentor group where it coached fitness business mentors all the way through to real estate owners, and they were all, some of them were making $1 million a month, and every piece of training was just, it was just insert niche, so it can work. How
Yeah.
have you found your marketing voice and angle with that, mate, in terms of speaking to different people?
So
I know it's the same message, but yeah.
yeah, marketing's a weakness of mine. I'm not afraid to hold my hands up and say that. I've been very, very good at monetizing my teeny tiny audience, very good at connecting with the people that I do have that follow me and follow the message. I think for me, the last year, I've just wanted to construct an incredible service that gets great results for my immediate audience, being such an early business. As soon as we've actually got a launch next week that we're actually doing to a lot of coaches. My entire focus is going to be on learning and getting better and removing the weakness of marketing going forward. So I can already see that being a hurdle for me in regards to having slightly different industries that we actually help. So I don't know the answer to how I'm going to tackle that just yet, but it's definitely something that I'm aware of.
How come the people have come to you so far then?
Reputation.
Reputation, word of mouth, recommendations?
I've been a ghost. Like, there's not many people that know who I am, but there's a lot of people who have been referred. Like especially at the very beginning. I mean, we built from the very early days to its first 15 grand a month just behind closed doors. Like, there was no content. If you look at my account a year ago, I didn't post anything. And it's just from results. So I know from a back end perspective, we're incredibly good at what we do, and the program that we built out now. It's just for me scaling everything on the front end. That's going to be the biggest challenge for me. Especially
what's the traits of your ideal client, mate?
the traits of my ideal client. I want someone who wants to create a life that's better for them and their family. For me, my ideal client isn't someone that just wants to grow a business. I've been there and done that. I don't want someone that just wants that Instagram life, that next car, that next house. I want to get on a call with someone and I want them to really show that there's meaning behind what they want to do.
Yep.
I want them to have some emotion behind it. And they're the people that I really want to help, because I've been there at the start. I want to help those people that are struggling. Maybe they've been trying for a long time. They're on the verge of giving up. I really want to help those people. I do find it fun working with like 7-figure businesses as well, because it keeps me on my toes. But
yeah,
those earlier days is what brings me a lot of passion. Like when I get a message and someone says I don't have to worry about the mortgage anymore, like I love that side. Like that's what fuels me, absolutely fuels me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's dialing it in. I know it's a weakness of mine. I know I'm going to put a lot of focus in that and get better. But I know we can create results. I know exactly how to take someone from point A to point B. But you are right. The marketing is a foggy area for me right now, and definitely something that I need to dial in.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it was more a question than it was like, because I think like for me, you know, I my full focus is on, you know, I'm going to go and travel the full of Britain. When I'm back this summer, some of the team are going to go down and see the gyms that we run. We've got gyms all over Britain that we help, and nice. I really want to go down and visit them all, and you know, really number one from a selfish marketing standpoint, but number two, just to see the impact. We've already visited a good few in Scotland, and mate, see going in to see a gym that you remember with a picture getting sent to you that was an empty office building, and they're like, "What about this place?" You know, that's incredible, mate. And I think I love online coaching businesses and stuff, but until they build a brand they're proud of and they wake up and tell me they wear that brand with their heart, that's the proudest moment you get with an online coach. So, but it takes a while to get there. As a gym, it's the physical thing we can touch and feel. And so I think for me, like that's my passion right now. That's what I'll go towards. But you've always got one eye in the future, mate. And I think like for me, I'd probably, one of the things that I would say is my skill is probably marketing, creating ads, you know, creating ways for people to turn heads. You know, like I wouldn't say personal brand as such, but I would probably say that the reason I'm in the position I am today is because you either love me or you don't like me at all. And I think that's where I'm trying to edge my guys towards. So in the future, I'd like to create something that's a bit more to a bigger addressable market to see how we could impact.
Yeah.
And so I guess it was more of a question about like the future of how that works, because mate, you hear it everywhere, don't you? Hear you must pick a niche, and then you hear you don't need a niche. And one of the advice I got from a really well-known agency owner was like, "Why are you picking a niche?" And I was just like, "It's all I know, it's my comfort." And then,
Literally,
like I say, I realised, mate, when I was in a business coaching program where it was literally a random assortment of people. When I went to ClickFunnels and the Funnel Hacking Live, the advice was there. It just never said PT at the end, or it never said coach. And I was like, I get it. But my biggest thing, Josh, is I always felt I've had to earn the right to be able to, like go wider.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't think I'll dial in. I spent so much time in the fitness industry. So naturally we get 50-60% of our client base are fitness coaches. They just are because of the background. But I remember I took on a skincare coach where she actually helps with relieving stress, and you don't have to use certain products and materials and routines to actually reduce acne. So she coaches her clients to reduce stress, get like better health, essentially look after themselves.
It's the same parallels, eh?
And I remember I actually sat with because I brought on a coach to kind of help me out, because it's all one-to-one that we do. Brought on a coach to actually help me out, and I remember sat down on a call with him, and we looked through our entire Start and Grow program. I was like, does this apply? Does this apply? Does this apply? Went through the whole thing. We were like, it does.
Yeah.
So let's take her on.
Yeah.
And it's so everything that we built does apply to online coaches. Outside of online coaches, it doesn't. So I don't necessarily want to venture any wider than someone who's not an online coach, but I feel like we've really dialed in that aspect of things.
Yeah, mate, it's interesting because I think like what I saw with this particular business coach is always very open. And I seen a piece of marketing from him one time, and it was like, we can help any coach to get to $1 million a year, $1 million a month. Except from, I think it was relationship coaches and one more thing. So I think there's maybe one or two caveats in there. I'm sure you'll do your research and find those caveats, but maybe they're just hard luck. I don't know. So
it's interesting.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And I think it's one thing that I'm starting to do when I'm creating trainings for my guys is like starting to get them to think broader, because I think sometimes when you do go too pigeonholed, some clients take it literally as well. They think, okay, I have to say this to this, and it's like, just think broader. Think about the general psychology of marketing instead of fat loss marketing. And it starts to make you go, wow, this actually applies across the board. And I remember I signed up with a course to sell a low ticket program. And I was on the call with it, and he thought I sold fitness. And I'm like, it's fitness business coaching. And he couldn't get his head around it. And I was a bit frustrated. And then he got his head around it, and he just had to know the market, the offer.
Yeah.
Before you know it, this low ticket funnel blew up. And I'm like, and it just gave me belief. Again, I was that thing again with the granny sitting beside me. I was like, I could do this, man. I think in the future,
Yeah. No, it's I'm excited for it. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like I've just got, especially after the last year, like coming back, I've just got that buzz to learn and just improve now. And like one thing I've been really good at is just taking action on something. I'm like, instead of trying to be a perfectionist with that thing, let's take action with it. Let's get it going, get feedback, and improve.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be something that you can do better and something that you can improve on. So I'm looking forward to. Well, I've got like a month left of dialing things in, everything's scheduled out, and then I'm all in on marketing. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that journey, because I'm a private guy, Chris. I'm a very
I keep my eye out, mate, because I know if you're a private guy as well, it's unnatural, and especially with the way things are going, Josh. Now it's like it's very much on one side of it. It's never been easier to just create stuff, even 6-second reels, 8-second reels with text on it gets good views and stuff.
Yeah.
But on the other side, it's also, you probably feel a little bit uncomfortable bringing your, talking about yourself. You've always been the guy behind the scenes that has helped people massively. Yeah. But again, like you've always done, mate, you'll do the reps and you'll see what works.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. What's the future of MRR?
So for us, mate, it's, the reason that we rebranded as well, and I know that if any of my clients are listening to this thinking, oh, well, is Chris going to leave the gyms and all that? Yeah, we're staying put, right? But for me, I think I want to stretch my capabilities and my skill sets to help my clients, and I want them to, so that when I stretch my capabilities and thinking, I'm going to stretch theirs. So I've already done that, mate. It's like, I was very similar to you, Josh. Like, I done the whole revenue chasing thing. And this is where I think there's a big, and I'm going to address this a lot in my marketing the next while, because there's a lot of people out there pushing this like kind of aligned lifestyle, and don't work yourself into the ground, and you can go and pick your kids up from school and all these types of things. Absolutely right. But if you think of Josh's story when he's 16 doing those and then into 18 doing those phone calls, I just need people to know, because there's already enough side hustle things out there and fast track shortcuts as well, that you still need to do the reps, and you need to earn the right. And if that earning the right is paying your mortgage every month, great, that's your North Star. If it's then building a team, then that's your North Star. So for me, mate, I wanted the MRR agency to be like long term. So the upgraded coach was just, it limited me. I want the agency to be able to get noticed, like to be the most well-known agency in the world for MRR.
Amazing.
And then I want other companies to come and say to us, like, can you install MRR into our service in some way? And I just want case studies, Josh. I want to go in a company that says we've never had MRR, it doesn't work in our industry.
Yeah.
I'm talking to any industry, and I'll go, great, let's challenge it. Sorry, mate.
Let me show you.
Yeah, let me show you how you can add it in, because as the industry goes further and further with subscriptions and all these types of things, there's absolutely a way to add it in. So for me, it's like, how can I future-proof the brand and the business? That's how we do it. So I want to focus on that, mate, getting ridiculous results for gyms. I think we've overcomplicated stuff the last year. We have we've grew very fast. I've been in unfamiliar territory. Yeah. I have hired too quick, untrained, not trained people enough. I've learned a lot as a leader and a business owner, mate, because I've been like, okay, it's built. Now I need to go and do the thing that takes it to the next level. And, I've been putting fires out and neglected things. So I've learned a lot. Yeah. So the next piece of it is grow the brand to get great results and to be known for that. Not just, I know them as MRR. It's like, no, I know them for getting results with MRR. And then my personal brand, Josh, I think that's a big passion now is... Yeah. Personally, I just thought that was just me, personality. That's what it used to be called. Your personality, do I like them or do I not? Yeah, but now we're in this personal brand era, and it fascinates me, mate, if I'm honest, because I think there's a lot of coaches and people that we help who they become their business, and that's step one. I think you need to own your business and drive it. But then you need to get out the driver's seat and go, I'm not saying build a team, I'm just saying, who is this person? Who is this guy or girl that created that? Because that's your ticket to whatever opportunities lie ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm definitely gonna have to embark on it. I've started to creep in. Right, I've started to creep in.
Right behind your story, Josh. He's talking about Spain. Talk about Spain. Talk about the first time you went there, how the apartment was. All these types of things. And for me, like one of the things that I learned, it's in Russell Brunson's books. I think he calls it attractive character.
Yes. Yeah.
That'll be a great starting point or a refresher if you've seen it already. Yeah. That was my starter. That was my story thing. And I just, I went into ChatGPT, told it my full backstory, voice noted a bunch of stuff into it to say, like, this is my brand, this is how I am. I'm Scottish, I'm this. Make sure you don't lose it. Yeah. And it just churned out all this stuff. And that's where I started telling my story again.
Incredible. Do you go out to Spain much? Do you still go out there?
Yeah, mate. So we are toying between the idea of actually staying there full time. I think where we bought is great, but is it lively enough for us to live there? Probably not, mate. I think we'd maybe look more towards Marbella and the outskirts of Marbella for a long-term play. Cool. So we go back a week yesterday for about 3 months.
Amazing.
So we'll spend the summer out there, mate, creating content, having a good time. Yeah, I've been pushing a lot, mate, if I'm honest, Josh, the last 18 months. Yeah. And I want to get back to having a bit of fun, man. I want to get back to, just having a bit of fun. I've hired a lot of team members, a lot have left. I just want to get back to fucking having some fun, mate.
Enjoy it.
Mate, enjoy it.
Enjoy it. And I think that's the biggest thing, like, especially as entrepreneurs, we try and work as hard as possible, but it is important to have a look up and understand what you're working for. Like, you've worked hard to get this villa in Spain. Yeah. Enjoy it, be present. And it's scary because, I went through that where you snap of the fingers, you look back on like the last 5 years and it's like, shit. I remember coming back from Spain and seeing my sister's 10 years younger than me. And I remember coming back from Spain and like people change a lot between the age of 15 and 18. 15 and 18. I remember looking at her like, oh, I don't even recognize you.
Crazy.
And it's yeah, you've got to be present.
Yeah.
You really, really do
I mean,
have
that's so true. I think that's the big thing for me. I've got a couple of friends coming over and stuff, and I remember it was Cheryl's family came over last year,
to.
and honestly, mate, I was just sitting on the computer while they were behind me making cups of tea, and I just felt, I didn't know at the time, but when they left, I went, "Come on, you mate, you're preaching that you're building this business for freedom, and you're literally you've got anxiety if you're not going on your computer. Like, come on!" So,
Yeah.
big wake up call, mate, and it's that whole thing, isn't it? You're preaching something to your clients, but you're not embodying it. So, mate, it's time for me now to live exactly the way I'm going to preach. I've got an MRR focused business. Yes, we sell high ticket. Yes, we push sales and marketing aggressively when we need to, when we're in cycles.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my life and here's how I live it.
Yeah.
Because just another point, mate. I remember signing up with the business coach I was telling you about, delivering trainings on a boat on an iPad, smiling. 4 kids are behind him. He's traveling the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember after I finished with him, after 15 months, I went with another guy. And my God, mate, every video I watched, he was not smiling. He had more money. He had a lot of money.
Yeah.
But my God, was he miserable. And I never noticed at the time these two parallels until I took some time away.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, one of my competitors bought a flat in the Burj Khalifa.
Mm-hmm.
One bought a castle.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, you can't win the game of money. But
No.
what you can do is be fucking happy and be approachable and be successful. And I went, wow, penny drop moment, mate. So that's my thing I've been focusing on.
It's so true. I mean, I was very fortunate to connect and become friends with quite a lot of people in Marbella when I was there. And one of the people that I was lucky enough to connect with was a billionaire, like very, very wealthy guy. And we used to have, like, once a week, we used to go up into his villa, and he used to open his 4-car garage, whatever it fucking was, right? It was huge. Open it up, and you had the whole view of like Marbella, like up in the mountains. It was beautiful. You had to show your passport to go behind this security gate to even get into the estate. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. We used to do a bit of boxing. Just he used to invite like some entrepreneurs, local business owners. Didn't matter how successful you were, like starting out, killing it. It didn't really matter. Like monetary didn't really matter. But I remember he was saying he would, if he's dedicated time to spend with his 2 daughters, and he has a sales opportunity, a business meeting that would conflict with that, he says no to the sales opportunity because spending time with his daughters is the most important thing.
Yeah.
He could have a sales opportunity that could make him millions of pounds in one hit, but it still gets a big fat no.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. And like to hear from him and be exposed by that with all of his success and everything that he's learned, it does again just re-solidify that, okay, what are you actually doing it for? There are actually more important things. I hate that old saying there's more important things than money, because most people that say that haven't got any money.
Yeah.
When you hear it from someone who has money, it hits very differently. And it's interesting.
Yeah, mate, that's it. I think as well, but just as a closing point, I'd love to kind of get your thoughts. I've shared my thoughts over the last couple of weeks around it. I think more so in the fitness industry and stuff, we're noticing a lot of skepticism. We're noticing a lot of people being burned in the past and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I guess one question I've got for you, for people listening, mate, is we'll head middle of May here, heading into end of May, going into like summer and stuff. What would your best advice be, mate, for people who are just kind of fed up with getting sent offers, fed up with all the usual noise out there? They're losing a bit of focus. They've got an online business. Mm-hmm. What would be your top advice, mate? Just off the top of your head.
I think you're right. Skepticism is the biggest thing that you're probably combating right now. I'm definitely combating right now. I think anyone online who's selling something is definitely seeing a rise of skepticism online, and rightly so. I actually spoke to a client yesterday about this and said to her, like, when's the last time you helped somebody that didn't have an agenda attached behind it? So didn't have a sale behind it.
Yeah.
And she was like, she had to sit there and think, and she couldn't think. She couldn't remember. And I went, go back to that. Because so many people are trying to build, grow. But a lot of people are losing that reason behind why they actually started things in the first place. That's exactly why we're running a 14-day launch next week. It's completely free, and we're just gonna show you that we can do what we say we can do. We're gonna try and remove the skepticism. I know you're skeptical, but we're gonna try and remove that for you, and we're just gonna help you as much as possible for a couple of weeks. And I think my biggest advice is go back to that. Even with content, it could be as simple as content or having a conversation with someone in the direct messages. A lot of our guys are crushing this actually right now. So we've split things into sales calls and what we call value calls. Really, really interesting concept. So have a certain amount of slots in your week for sales calls, traditional sales calls as you usually would. Have a certain amount of slots, just a few a week. It doesn't have to take up your entire diary, that are completely free and they're called value calls. And the way that you position that is if someone who in your audience needs help, get them on a call and help them and leave the call. So off the back of that call that you actually have, help them for a good half an hour to 45 minutes, whatever you want to do, and then just leave the call and then check in with them 2 week point, 30-day point, just to see how they're doing. Don't sell them anything. And we're seeing a ridiculous amount of sales coming from the back of that without them trying to sell anything.
Yeah.
Because there's no agenda there. And I think if you want to remove the skepticism, remove the agenda behind why you're doing things and go back to being a genuine good human being behind what you're trying to do, and you will see the results as a byproduct off the back of that. That's what I'm seeing that's just working really well right now.
Yeah, that's banging. I love it. I love it because it's so funny, isn't it? Like when people are talking in the DMs, we're now hardwired to be like, okay, this is step 17 of the 32 DM script. Let's see if we can get to step 18. We've all been guilty of it, man. So I love it, mate. What a reminder that is.
Yeah. And what a story as well. What a story from your side. Incredible.
Appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. It's funny because I tell my guys, and you know, I can't remember who said it. It's like you'll get fed up with your story quicker than anybody else ever will, especially with your reach these days. If you do a big post about your life in Spain, 10% will see it anyway. So say it again and again in a different way. So, I appreciate it, mate. That was amazing. No, I think where could, for my listeners and stuff, Josh, where can they find you, mate?
Yeah, so it's just my name, mainly on Instagram and YouTube. So just Josh Dexter _ or on YouTube, just search my name and I'm just there. And then from your side of things, anyone from
so Chris Bradley.MRR on Instagram, and then YouTube, just Chris Bradley, and you'll see the page there. So I'll get this on the MRR show as well, mate.
Incredible. I'm sure, mate. The first time that we spoke.
yeah, that's it, mate.
Mate, a lot of similarities. So yeah, I definitely don't want this to be the last time that we speak.
Definitely not, mate. I think we will, judging by the way conversation went and stuff, I could see us, you know, an event at some point, connecting and, you know, maybe sharing the stage at some point as well, mate.
Absolutely. I'm all down for that. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll get this recording over to you as soon as I can. I'll AI amplify everything.
Nice.
I'll make it all sexy and make it all good.
Class.
Now I'll get that across to you. But no, have an incredible day, mate, and really appreciate your time as well.
You too, mate. Thanks a lot, bud. Great to meet you, Josh.
You're the man. Take care.
Take care, my man. Bye-bye.